Good morning, everybody. My name is Zach. I am the lead product specialist here with Club Runner, and I am going to be your webinar guide for our website live designer presentation this morning. I hope everybody's prepared and ready to get going. I see that we've got a whole lot of people here. And I think everybody can hopefully see my screen and all of that is good. I see that I've got everybody muted, which is pretty normal here. I am going to, let's see, I'm just trying to make sure I've got everybody good to go here. There we go, can see everything. All right, I believe I have everybody here who I'm expecting. I think we had a few more registrations, but I know some people will filter in. And so if you guys can see in front of me right now, I am going to, sorry, rather, I've got an example of one of our club websites here that you guys may be very familiar with. And, you know, we're going to go through, I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to take control of your club website, take advantage of the features that are built into the Club Runner Live website designer, and that's what we're going to be primarily covering today, and how you guys can update your site to be a lot more on brand and, you know, a lot more but I'm sure you guys have seen a club website looking like this before. And so the only other thing I want to go over before we get started, so I'm going to leave everybody muted during most of the presentation. If you guys have any questions, or you can pop those into the question box in GoToWebinar, or if you have the chat, I'm going to do my best to pay attention to that while I'm working through the webinar. But of course, if you guys ask a question that is directly relevant to whatever we're covering, I'll do my best to answer it directly. And if for any reason it isn't directly on point, we'll try and come up to circle back to that at either an appropriate time, or you know, if it's something really out of scope of the webinar, I can reach out to you guys after the fact and you know, either start a ticket with you, or we can continue the conversation somewhere else. So I believe I don't see any hands raised or anything else. I don't see any questions or chat messages. So I'm going to assume that everybody can hear me okay and that we can go ahead and get started. But for any reason, if that is not the case, please raise your guys' hands, put messages into the chat, shoot questions at me, let me know. And so let's go ahead and get started. So right here, we have one of our demo clubs. This is actually one of the clubs we usually do presentations on, and I've set it up to be very similar to what some clubs might have their actual club website looking right now. And so some of the things that I can identify for you guys right now, though, this club is using a next generation theme. It's using all of the things that it technically should be using. It's not out of date. It just doesn't look as modern and nice as I think a lot of clubs or the districts would like to see it. And the really great news is making it better isn't that hard. It takes a little bit of time and care, but you can absolutely get it set up and updated and get it looking a lot nicer. So now I am logged in, and you guys can see that up here because you can see my name and we can see the members area link. But something I really want to call your guys' attention to is okay, I see someone saying they have no audio. Let me make sure. All right, I am seeing my monitors good. I'm going to hope that it is just Karia. And if anyone, Karia, I'm very sorry to hear that you don't have any audio. Hopefully you can get that sorted. But as far as I can tell, my audio is broadcasting. So hopefully they'll be able to get that sorted out. So continuing on. The thing that I really wanted to call out here, so I'm a site administrator, I'm a level 30 site administrator. And instead of going into the members area and navigating, I want to call your guys' attention to this blue, in this case, edit pencil on the bottom of this page. Anytime you guys are logged into your club or district website and you have enough permission to make changes to the content you're looking at, you guys will see this edit this page. And I'm going to show it off really quickly here. If you click on it, it will launch a brand new window. And from this brand new window, we will be immediately inside of the website live designer. And so this allows us really quick editing of pages and content that we may not otherwise have access to, or we may have to go through and dig. And it actually works on a ton of content in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and close my tab that popped up. And I just want to show you guys this a little bit more. So like, let's say I saw a typo in this story, or I didn't like, there was something wrong with the content and I needed to fix it. It's great because you can click on the title, you can click read more. And when you load up here, you will see this edit pencil is still here, and clicking on it will jump you right into the story. And again, I am an administrator on this account, so I can just jump right in and go and see all of this and make changes to it. You know, maybe I don't want story comments anymore, so I can save and publish it. And if we go back to the actual page and we refresh it here, you will see that the comment section is now off and gone. So I just really wanted to call that out because I know that that is very nice and a lot of people don't know about it. And I really wanted to get that out there first and foremost. So I still have some people saying that they're having some audio issues. And if I could, let me check through the attendees list here. Patrick. So, sorry, just checking through my list of attendees here. Audio is fine. Okay, I'm getting some positive confirmation. Good. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't talking into the talking and you guys couldn't hear me. Continuing on, so let's get started with actually transforming this club's website and making it into something that we want to see on our own website. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and come into the edit pencil here, and I'm going to jump into the live designer. And one of the things I really want to instill in you guys is that for the most part, changes that you make to your Club Runner website are not destructive. If you make a change and you don't like it, it's usually pretty easy to get it to go back or revert that change or get it back into a place. There are very few times in the system where you make a change and it is gone and there's absolutely nothing you can do. So the first thing I want to point out is the theme that we're using, while it's okay, I definitely know it isn't a preferred theme, especially because this banner section can lead to a lot of incorrect results. So one of the things I want to encourage everybody here to use is look at our community impressions or vision next generation themes. I really like the vision theme, especially if you are going into the brand center and creating your own logo for your club, which I strongly recommend that everybody does. And the reason why is this will have the largest area to display your club's logo, and something that I really like, the menu floats down with the screen. So let's take a look at this one first and see where we get here. And just to point out some quick other things, so I know that branding is something that we're really focusing on here. I can see 3 things that we're doing wrong here. So we've got a Rotary logo here and the club text, it's not aligned, it's not the same font. And that would definitely be why you want to go directly into the brand center and create your logo so it is perfect and to all the standards. Second, we have our presidential logo from several years ago now in the menu logo, and that really shouldn't be there. And well, that's out of date. And then lastly, we also have our club logo, which I also know, like we're using the rotary wheel, but this is one of the older wheels that shouldn't be used. And we'll go through how to change all of those things because I know that lots of clubs are going to be in those places where they want to change it. But we're going to get started with the theme first. So first, let's take a look at the vision theme. So I'm going to choose some appropriate colors here for our vision theme. And the really nice thing about changing themes is that my initial change didn't actually change anything. I'm only seeing it in a preview. So anytime you're working with the live designer, there should also be this visit live page. Now, in our case, we can switch back to the other tab because that's where we originally came from. But if we were just inside of the administrative area and we needed access to the live page, we can use this visit live page link and it will open a new tab or window depending on your browser settings, and it'll take you right there. So I'll go ahead and close the first tab. We can keep this one open. But as you can see, the change that I made hasn't actually shown up yet. So we can look at what this new page or theme will look like on our club's website before we actually push it out to the website. But I really want to stress that, let's look at this. So I'm going to publish this theme. says the theme was published. I'm going to go back out to our homepage here. Now in this case, I'm going to tap the F5 key on my keyboard to refresh the page. And you can see in the 5 to 10 seconds that it took me to go from the live designer here, the theme has already changed and it is now live on our website. And you can see the edit pencil is still down here. The color has changed slightly, but that's just because of the theme. The pencil will always match the theme colors. So you guys can also see here that the logo now actually does sit in a much larger space, except that this is still definitely the wrong logo. So we've made some progress in cleaning up our club's website. So let's come back in here. And one of the other really nice things about the live designers is that it is live. So I can hover right over this logo here. And when I hit edit logo, it will throw me right into the logo system. And a nice thing to have about the logo system here is the fact that we actually do have light and dark menu logos, and we do need to upload an image here. And I am just gonna take this off screen here because I need to go dig for that image. All right, so I'm going to be borrowing our district's logo for this demonstration because I wanted to make sure I had an appropriate on-brand Rotary logo, and I can tell that this was made in the brand center or something very like it. And one of the things about the logo system is that anytime you make a change to the logo, that change won't actually go live until you publish the menu. So we'll go ahead and publish the menu. And in this case, we still have this extra tab open from our homepage. So we can go back to the homepage and we can reload the page. Now this time I will right click on the page and choose to reload it. And we can now see that our district logo is up in the menu where we want it. It's showing appropriately. And we can go ahead and head back to the website live designer. Actually, I should just be able to use the go back button here because that's where we came from. Now, let's say we're not super happy with how the logo looks on this banner. Now, obviously, we could go back and get new logos or generate new ones, but if we wanted to take a look at some of the other themes that are available, I'm going to switch over to the impression theme here. And you can now see that our logo sits a little bit more nicely up on the top of the page, but we see this text that we don't like to the right of it. So if we head right back into the edit logo page, we can, oh, actually, I skipped ahead there. I haven't published this change yet. So let me go ahead and publish this change. And now that I've published it, we can go back out to the home page again, we'll refresh. We'll see the text and everything is updated, but we still need to get rid of this text. So in this case, we'll head back into the live designer. We'll click on our edit logo. And from here, we have logo text. Now, here's the cheaty secret to make all of your logo text to the right of the logo disappear. We're just going to put a space in there. Any text in here immediately overrides whatever text is in that logo box. So if we come back here to the home page again, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and reload again, we can now see we have our impression theme, we have our menu, and we have the logo, and everything looks pretty good. And if we scroll down the page, the logo will snap into the menu because this is one of our floating menu themes. And you can see that the logo sits in a really nice place and it looks really good. Let's keep going. So inside of our menu, we're back here in our menu logo. So let's head back to the live designer. And we're gonna go ahead and fix this club logo now. So I can hover over this meeting information widget. And the meeting information widget, and we'll get to talking about widgets and stuff in a little bit. This is what I refer to as an automatic widget. It automatically pulls information from other parts of the system to just display it on the home page. So even though I am a website administrator, if our club secretary or president, even if they work at administrator, goes and updates the information, it will still update the website. So here we're on our club information page, and if this club was integrated with Rotary International, a lot of the changes we would be making here would also go up to Rotary, but that's not the point of this webinar today. So let's go ahead and get this menu logo changed, and I know that window is going to pop up off of the screen for everybody. Image. And so in this case, I'm going to go into our image library, and I am definitely going to use the mark of excellence here with the correct branding. I would definitely consult the brand guidelines to make sure that you can use the mark of excellence here, but I do know lots of clubs use it, and it is very clearly and prominently on our Rotary Club's website. So now we at least have the new modern Rotary logo, which when we come back here to the home page and we refresh again, we will see that our logo has changed. And that's without me going back into the live designer to make those changes. Really, when you make changes in the system and that information is displayed, in very many cases, it is going to show up and have that information available on the website. So the other thing I do want to do really quickly is I want to edit some of the meeting information here, because right now on the website, it just says we meet Tuesdays at 9, and I know that there's a little bit more in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click our meeting information here. So we do meet Tuesdays at 9, but we have limited So I'm going to go ahead and put some meeting comments in here, and I'm going to check that our club meets online, and here is our private meeting information. And the really nice thing about this is this will only show up to members of our club who are logged in. Members of the district as well, and in this case, your district is a subscriber, so if you guys put your meeting information in here, it will be available for other members of the district when they are logged in. So let's go ahead and save that. So we see that our information has updated here. And again, I have not touched the website designer. So I'm going to go ahead and head back over here, and I'm going to refresh the page. And we can see that all of that information has now updated, and there's more information here. And just very quickly, I'm going to copy our website address here. I'm going to open an incognito window. And if you guys aren't familiar with this, incognito is a really great way to test your website. I have a really good question here that I'm going to come back to in just a minute, but the really good thing about the incognito is it's great for testing. It turns off all your add-ons by default, and it makes you go to the website as a guest. You can also see that it changed to this very dark black color, really letting you in here. And you can see now that I am not logged in, and I can no longer view that information. So I've got a question from John Courtney here. Regarding the meeting information section, many clubs are doing virtual or hybrid now. How would you recommend that information be included? And really what I just did there was that good, way to do it. Now, obviously, if I was a club and I had, limits and I had actually set up our meeting software and everything, making sure that information is in your club information, page here. So if you are meeting online and you have that online meeting link, making sure those details are here. And if, for example, people need to check your schedule to attend, then putting that in there would be the appropriate thing. Make sure you come to our club website and check our schedule for in-person attendance. And you guys could have it open for registration or various different things. And I know every club's going to be different, so I don't want to comment on that too much, but the club information widget is a great way to make sure that you can share your meeting details securely with your club and communicate some of that information to the public and to your membership. Kathleen, that is a great question. I will have to take a look into that more. If I had to guess though, so Kathleen, or at least I see Kathleen, but I'm assuming it's Kathleen. When you say meet online, you stop being able to find your club in a search. So I don't know why your club wouldn't be showing up on Rotary's Club Finder, but if you are meeting online, you would definitely still want to have a physical address so people can more easily find your clubs, because I believe the Rotary Club Finder is working based off of distance-based information. So even if you're not meeting in person anymore, you still would potentially want to have your meeting information listed accurately, including any specific details in your meeting comments. So now that we've talked about all that, I want to keep going right on about working with everything that the Live Designer has to offer you guys. So I'm going to head back into our club information page here, and I'm going to go ahead and head right back into the Live Designer here. So I'm going to keep hitting this go back button, and I know it will get me to where I need to go eventually. Nope, I seem to be stuck in a loop, so I'll have to make sure I talk to our team about that when on Monday. So let's head right back into our Live Designer though. So we are once again into our Live Designer, and I want to take you guys through some of the widgets and content that's available to be reused. I'm going to come back to actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with these pre-formatted widgets. Pre-formatted widgets are really great for, they basically handle all of the heavy lifting for you in the background. And when I say heavy lifting, I mean having to worry about mobile responsiveness, your visitors' browser sizes, a lot of those types of things. So using these widgets when you want things to look a very particular way, or you want content laid out a very particular, in a very particular style on the club's website, the pre-formatted widgets are great, and they do exactly what they say they will. So, you know, let's say you guys had a really big event, or you wanted to call, you know, have a call to action about something. You could definitely use any one of these widgets. And the thing that I want to instill upon you guys here about any of these widgets is anytime that you see this plus sign on the widget, the plus sign means that you're adding a new widget. And if you come down here and you look and you see these widgets with magnifying glasses, these are widgets that already have content in them, and we can reuse them. So if you over time, as you work with your widgets, you might have things year to year that you want to come back to and put them on there. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this right onto the page so you guys can see it. And so we've got our president's message too, and the president's homepage, and this is a widget that's someone else. So I can come in here and I can make any changes to this that I want, but let's say it's no longer appropriate and I don't want it there on the page. Click, gone, that's it. So anytime you can just drag your widgets on. So if we wanted to do a new one, I can do that really quickly here. My heading, my widget. And the really nice thing about the Live Designer that I haven't touched on yet is everything you're doing is auto-saving. And when you're ready for something to be saved because you don't want to work on it anymore, click outside of it. Done. The save has fired. This is on the page. Now this is a draft version of the page. So if we head back to our homepage here and we refresh, you'll see that nothing has actually changed yet. So heading back into the Live Designer, anytime you add or remove a widget or change its location, you need to publish to make sure that it's seen. So let's finish filling this widget out. So we have my heading, we have some text. I'm gonna go get some filler text here because I'd like you guys to see what it would look like. So I've got some nice generic filler text here. I'm gonna go ahead and close that, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop that text right in here. Now, so let's say I was happy with, let's get an image in here too. Let's get a big calendar icon in there. So we've got our image, we've got our text, we've got our title. And if I didn't want the widget, I can empty the text of the widget. And when your widget is empty, like when your button here is empty, it won't show up. So let's go ahead and publish that. And we'll come back in here and we'll refresh the page. And you can see almost instantaneously, the second I publish that, the second I put the widget and published it, though it looks like it didn't save my, let's try that one more time. There it goes. Saved it the second time. So now you guys can see that the widget is there, and if I had a document from my club with text or anything, it'd be really easy to put that information in there. So we're gonna come back in here, and one of the things else I wanna talk about is these sections here. So anytime you guys see these blank boxes here, they won't show up unless you put something into them. So for example, we've got this pre-formatted widget here that I added. Let's say I don't want it in this 2-column layout. I want it closer to the top of the page. I can just click it and drag it up there. And you can see that the widget has reformed itself and taken in the location that it has refilled the space that it's in. And we'll go ahead and publish that so you guys can see how that changes the content on the page just a little bit. And you can see that it is now rearranged. So if we had some big call to action we wanted right on the homepage, like let's say we're running an event or a raffle, registration, any of those types of things, you can use widgets like this to really have those big call to actions. And we could have a button that says donate now. You know, maybe you're running a big donation campaign for the holidays or any number of things. Using these widgets, you can have these big call to actions, and you can really draw attention to the things that you need. And as you guys have been seeing me drag and drop stuff, it's just a little bit of time and effort to get it in. You don't need to know all the complex HTML and everything else. Now, obviously, if you have those skills, they can help you go further, but you definitely don't need them. You just need to be comfortable with dragging and dropping, clicking, and typing in some text. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this widget, because one of the things that I know lots of clubs love having are carousels. And we have a new dynamic carousel, and dynamic carousels are fantastic. They have all kinds of great features and functionalities with them, and it can really make your club website look very stylish. Now, the only thing I want to call your attention on carousels of any type, if you're using our classic photo carousels or our new dynamic carousels, pay attention to the number of photos you're putting in there. A good carousel has somewhere between 3 and 5 photos. And the reason we say 3 and 5 is because every photo you have to load for your carousel needs to be somewhat high resolution, so it'll look nice. And unfortunately, high resolution photos also tend to consume more space. So I've definitely seen clubs who will take photos from an event, dump that all into a carousel, and put that on their homepage. And the reason why I'm really suggesting exercising caution is if you have 50 carousel photos to load on your homepage, every single visitor to your website will have to load all of those photos to view your page. So minimum resolution for a photo to upload, it would really depend. And this was a question from Carolyn Gibson. She asked, if you copy the URL for the widget and post it on social media, will it go directly to that widget? So for individual widgets, no. Those are just content on the page. But you should absolutely be able to, if for example, you wanted to link to your club's information, we could go create a page, put all that information on and link to it. And I'll show us a little bit later how we can do that. And Eddie, yes, this webinar is being recorded. So let's go ahead and build that carousel up real quickly here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab our dynamic carousel. I'm gonna click and hold, drag, and I want to drop it in this banner full width section. Now for me, the reason why I'm dropping it here is I want my carousels. Oh, Edie, I'm so sorry about that. I totally misread that. Please accept my sincere apologies. So it was Edie who asked the question about the webinar being recorded. So for our dynamic carousel here, we want it in this banner full width section. And as I was saying before I was stumbling over myself there, is that when we drop it into this banner full width section, the reason we want it here is so that regardless of the browser or size, so it doesn't matter if someone has a giant 4K monitor or if they're looking on, their Android or their iPhone, it will scale to see their monitor. If we put it in this top section, it will only be as large as the golden borders that you guys can see around it now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it up here. And because we're creating a brand new carousel, it's going to actually throw us into creating a new carousel. So I am going to go ahead, and I don't need a description for this. It's just going to be called dynamic carousel 2, but let's go ahead and run through the properties. Actually, let's give this a more descriptive name. That way, because descriptive names are good, and the reason why I definitely would encourage it most of the time is so you know. Over time, you're probably going to have a giant collection of widgets and carousels, so giving them good descriptive names, even if you choose not to show them to the end users, is a really valuable thing to think about. So we're just going to call this home page I could spell carousel 2020, 21. I think that is the appropriate rotary here. And we have some settings to look through. And of course, I'll take a look at these a little bit more in depth after we get the carousel set up. So we have sliding, where it slides from left to right or right to left. We have fading animations, cube animations, cover, flow, and flip. I'm gonna leave it on slide, but we will get through that. We have where we want to position our carousel indicators. And just for fun, I'm gonna put them in the bottom right. I'm going to set my transition time to 5 seconds. So as the page loads, the carousel shouldn't transition too quickly. We're going to go ahead and leave the slide indicators and slide navigation arrows. And there's this nice setting here that is, sorry, let me back up. So show slide title, it quite literally shows the title of the slide if you have anyone. Wayne, I'm glad to hear that. It could just be that I'm lucky here on the weekend that there isn't as much activity, though I'm relatively close to the servers and stuff too. Not that close, not much closer than most people, but so match photo sizes. And the reason I want to call some attention to match photo sizes is that the carousel ideally for the best performance, all of your photos should be the exact same dimensions. Usually a lot of clubs or customers will pick a specific resolution, something that is reasonably high, but also not too high. And I usually recommend like 1600 by 400 or 1600 by 300. And that is 1600 by 400 would be a 4 by 3, like it's 4 by 1, sorry about that. 1600 by 400 is 4 by 1, so it is 4 times wide as it is tall. And the reason why we want a really wide, tall image, or a really wide, very short image, is so that it goes across the screen and it doesn't take up a bunch of resolution, or it doesn't take up a bunch of sizes. Now, if you have a couple photos that are a little off, maybe you have 1650 by 350 and you have 1550 by 400. If there's some small variance in your photos that aren't super drastic, you can use this match photo size option. What it does is it locks the resolution of the tallest photo to all the other photos in the carousel. So you'll still see some minor differences between the photos as they change through the carousel, but it won't be nearly as bad as if you had completely mismatched photos. But perfect scenario, all the same size. Slightly less perfect scenario is all the same ratio. So, I said 4 to 1. So if all of your photos, if you have 1600 by 400 where we're going to start, you can half that. You could technically have 800 by 50, though that'd be a really tiny photo, but you can also go up the same way. So you could have 3200 by 800. It's basically keeping that aspect ratio log. And I know that's really more of an advanced thing, but I know a lot of clubs have some resources available to them. And the My Rotary Brand Center has a ton of fantastic photos and resources that can help for this. And I'm actually going to be using the People of Action carousel when I get to the photos. So we're going to keep coming down. We have some advanced carousel settings. The paging style, this shows the little indicators. I'm going to choose dynamic bullets just so we can see what that looks like. And then we have the custom pagination color. So these are the color of the icons. I'm going to leave them alone. And then the navigation are the left-right arrows that we'll see in a minute here. So let me go ahead and save. And we can see that it has all popped right up. And I'm going to upload multiple slides. And I've got my slides off screen here. I got them all prepared ahead of time here. Now, of the 4 slides that I have here, 3 of them are JPEGs and 1 is a PNG. Now, under a normal situation, I would not use this PNG file. And I will tell you, it is a beautiful looking PNG file. It is a very high resolution, and it looks fantastic, but this is about a megabyte. And when you think about your visitors, you want to think about the visitors to your websites, not only as people using desktop browsers, but people using mobile browsers as well. So for the demo, I'm going to keep this photo in, but this 100 to 200 kilobyte range should be about what you're looking for on your carousel photos. You want something that will look good at most resolutions, but won't drastically impact someone's browser. It's still going to a little bit, but not as badly as, we had a ton. Now, this is where I was saying earlier, 3 to 5 photos. So if we put 10 photos that were each 100 kilobytes, that's an extra megabyte. That is almost the equivalent of this one photo. So just be really aware, like when in doubt, put it up. And you know, if you're really worried about it, or you think you want to make it better, or you want to, you know, get it reduced, definitely work towards that. There's nothing wrong with starting like that as long as you get it corrected. And if slightly outside the scope of this, getting this corrected would be taking it into a photo editing program, Adobe Photoshop, Paint.net, and there are millions of both paid and free tools, and probably trying to just re-export it as a JPEG photo with a little bit different optimization settings. And lots of tools have those. There's probably even some free online tools that would help you optimize your photos. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK here. The only other thing that I really want to touch on with photos, make sure you know that you have permission to use those photos. So here I'm using photos from Rotary's Brand Center, and that's a really good way to make sure that you won't run into any issues with your photos, is using the photos Rotary has already gone out of its way to license and provide on behalf of clubs. That doesn't mean you can't use your own photos. The only thing I'd, you know, extra special caution, don't go to Google, find a photo of the thing that you want and use it, because you probably don't have permission to. So either use your own photos, use your Rotary brand resources, or make sure you know, like, it's either the club's photo or you absolutely know you have permission to use those photos. I don't want to get into too much more of that, but it's a good thing to remember. So we've got our 4 photos in our carousel, and I want to put this N polio one here first. So if you want to reorder your carousel, it is just dragging and dropping these slides at the grab point here to reorder them. So let's head back to our homepage, and now we can see our carousel here in the Live Designer. So we've got our carousel. Now I can't page through it and I can't do too much about it because the carousel can't actually be active here, but we do see what this first photo is going to look like. And since I just added this new carousel to the website, we do need to publish that. So just to reinforce that once again, anytime you add or remove or change the location of a carousel, not even a carousel, sorry, a widget on the page, you do have to publish it. But that is great if you want to, like, I'd really like to see what this looks like here instead, in at least on my demo. Oh, you know, that looks okay, but I really liked it more up there. So I can just drag it right back up. And because I didn't publish that intermediary change, there's nothing like, I don't have to publish it again. So let's go ahead and head out to the home page, and we've made a couple of changes. So let's go ahead and reload and see what we got. So now we have this nice big photo carousel filling up the top of the website. And we can see that our little icons are down here. And if we sit here for a moment and we wait, we will see the carousel continue to navigate through those photos. And we can, of course, advance the slide ourselves. Let's take a look at just a couple of the slide properties. That way you guys can see what they look like here. So I'm going to switch back to our Live Designer, and then I'm going to hover over our widget here, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the properties. So I haven't touched too much about these icons here, and I do want to touch on them. So very quickly, most widgets will either have this box and arrow, which means that you're going to go into the full editor mode, or you're going to go into the customize the properties. And that's what this gear, cog, or wheel icon is. We have the X icon that will remove it from the page, but again, we still have it right here. We can drag that right back in. And then over here on the far left side, we have our drop point, our drag point. So these 6 icons, or 6 dots, whenever you see them, they are your drag point. They allow you to drag and drop and move your widget around the page. And in most widgets, if you just hover over them, clicking anywhere in the widget will send you into the default editing mode. But let's pop open these properties real quick. And one of the things I did want to change is I want to change these to fluid bullets from dynamic bullets. We'll put we'll move the location and we'll change the animation style. We'll try cube, though I don't know how good it's going to look if you come across it on the webinar here, but let's find out. So now we've got our icons have moved over here to the left. Our indicators didn't change, but the animation, once it plays here in just a moment, should. And I don't think you guys can actually see that. Yeah, I think the animation is quite lost, but what it's doing here is it's actually rotating like a cube. Like if you put a physical 3D cube on your desk and you rotated it, that's the animation. So let me head back in here and change that. I'm gonna go ahead and change that back to the standard. Actually, we'll see if we can do fade. Let's go ahead and refresh. Now, since I'm changing properties about the widget, that actually doesn't require a publish. And I think you guys aren't gonna be able to see it again here. It literally just fades the two photos together. Blake, I see you do have some comments about your exporting some stuff, and I will absolutely make sure I get that over to our product team for their review. So that is a dynamic carousel, and they are great ways to create more content for your club's website and to really make it look alive and great. And I really want to, again, call out to the People of Action campaign. I'm pretty sure that's still in the brand center. And one of the really nice things that you guys can do with it is you can upload your own club photos and have that Rotary wording and text over top of it. And I actually know lots of clubs who have done it and they look fantastic. So if you guys have your own great people action oriented photos, you can go into the brand center, you can upload your own photo and have it sit behind it. So let's keep going with our club updates. I do know lots of clubs have lots of different things and content that they do through various different ways. So now, for the most part, we've only got our club's stories here and our meeting information. So we don't actually have a lot of information we might want our visitors to see. So let's populate a little bit more of our homepage with more information. And one of the ways I want to do that is I want to increase the density of content that's available. So I've switched over to the layout section. Layouts, much like themes, allow you to quickly change the way your page is styled. And in this case, it's just for this page. What I want to do is we currently have a left-right, primary column, secondary column. I actually want to switch to a triple column, and I'm actually going to take this super advanced style here, and it is a triple column with many sections. And you can actually see that the last time the club here was using this layout, it actually had more widgets on it. So that is one of the other nice things is anytime that you change your layout and your style, it will, if stuff was there before, it'll still be there. Now, I don't want this photo album section here, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I'm going to hover over it and click it, and like that, it comes right off. I do want to leave our meeting information here in the left, and I want our club executives and directors also in the left. But since our meeting information is on the left, we also don't need it on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and click and go right over there. Carolyn asked, this animation will show the same for mobile users. Yes, the animation should be the same regardless. Obviously, the animation's performance would be dependent on the browser and a bunch of other things, but the animation should work regardless. And if you guys run into any issues with those, absolutely let us know. So one of the things I actually want to pull in is I'm going to say our clubs, but our club's Facebook feed. I'm actually going to use Rotary International, or I'm going to try to. So if your club has a Facebook page and you want to populate that for the news, a great way to do that is to use our Facebook page plugin. And let's say that the club had been choosing to put more of their effort and resources into updating the Facebook page instead. We could actually change this and configure this to show a newsfeed as well. But I know I actually want this over here because I want it to be a little feed here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, now that this widget is in place, I'm going to hover over it and I'm going to click the properties, and I'm going to ignore all of the general website properties. Actually, we will get rid of title, Rotary. And the only thing you need to do is get your Facebook page URL. So I believe it is Rotary International. Go ahead and hit save. Nope, that is, oh, no, that is definitely not the right feed. So let's see, Facebook Rotary International. That's the Rotary International president. So the first one I found is one of our Rotary districts here locally. So I am, actually, let's see, we'll use them just as a proof of concept here. So I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna go ahead and click onto our feed here. And I'm gonna go ahead and change that to the Rotary 77 Facebook feed because that's the one that I found. And it should take it an update. I might have to reload the page here. Let's see. Edie asks, once you deleted the information on the right, can you just have the homepage stories pulled to the right so that the page doesn't look too busy? There it goes. So now we can see either my internet, I think it's my internet here, so I've got our Rotary feed and we've got the Rotary District 77 and there's not a lot of information showing there. So I'm gonna come down to the Facebook page plugin. And one of the things that we really like with the Facebook plugin is in this default state, if all you wanted was to make sure people knew about your club's Facebook feed, you could have it just here. You could just have this and that's all you'd need. And if you wanted it to show larger, you could drag it up here into the top and get it to show more information. I'm gonna go ahead and drag it back into the right here. And we're going to go ahead and check some of these options. So I want to show the timeline tab. So this would show any of the messages that or the posts that the club or district has made. And I'm also going to use this small header, which will condense some of the size of the information. So now you can actually see we have a little feed from Rotary District 7070, but if it was your own club's Facebook page or your own district's, you could definitely do that. And you'd have that information and it will just update as it's actually updating on the page itself. So let's add some more good stuff. So another thing I touched on is maybe your club isn't writing as many news stories as they used to for whatever various reasons. And if you can't keep your club's homepage up to date for that reason, one of the widgets that we really love is our RSS feed widget. And the reason we love it is you can use the Rotary International feed itself to get news and content for your homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to Rotary News. And it's got the Rotary International RSS feed, and it's going to show 5 items from the Rotary International RSS feed. And then we are going to also show the brief. So it hasn't refreshed yet, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it here and save it. And there we go. So now we have our Rotary newsfeed. So maybe we're not updating our club stuff as frequently as before. And you can now see that this information is showing here. So if this was what we were happy with, we could go ahead and publish it. And we could come back out and reload the homepage here. And we can now see we've got our Rotary feed from our local club or district, and we've got a Rotary news feed from Rotary International talking about various different news stories. And this really helps to keep your homepage fresh and updated without actually you having to come in and update it every single time. And it's also just good, you could have it on the right as well. So this news feed will readjust and show wherever you want it. So if you have another club or district or other news source that provides a news feed that you want on your club's homepage, it's very easy to go get that news feed URL and put that information in. So I'm going to head back into the essentials category because I do want our homepage story showing on our club's website here. And there we go. Now we've got it all set up there once again. So one of the other things we talked about a little bit earlier was call to actions. So I have this nice call to action widget here, and I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop and put it right here on our homepage so we can continue to spruce this up. So Maybe we want to drive more donations to our local clubs or local campaigns. So we can set up a couple different buttons here. So what I'm actually going to do, so I'm going to get rid of this guy here. I'm going to hide him. I just want 2 buttons in this case. So donate to our club. And I'm going to come back in and fix that up a little bit more in a minute here. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to make this open in a new window. And so one of the newer features that Club Runner does have available for you is our donations module. And I at least want to show it off in the concept of it. It is pretty easy and straightforward to get set up as long as you have a payment account enabled. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to our club's homepage. Now I know the URL is just donate here. This error message, if you guys see this, just means that the module hasn't been configured, and I might not actually be able to configure the module today for various reasons, mostly because I might not have a payment account set up on this account yet. But I'm going to make this a primary. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So let's go ahead and publish this page. We're going to head back to our home page, and we can see how that new section shows up on the home page. So we've got our Help Our Community Today. If I click on this, it'll take me to whatever link that I have available. And if I click on Donate to Our Club, it'll take us to our donation page, but this isn't set up yet. So one of the things I am actually going to do, we published this page. I'm going to head to the Go Back. There's a couple more features I want to show off here for the custom pages before we head into some other things. So I am going to head to our donations beta. And if I go to the donation settings page, the donation module has not been set up. So let's go ahead and click on setup here. Now, the reason I was able to proceed with the setup is this account does have a valid payment account on it. So donate to our club. I'm going to say yes, I want free-form amounts. I don't want to set any actually, you know what, let's go ahead and set some amounts. Let's see, 5, 10, 25, and 50. I'm going to leave the text here as the generic text that it would be. But of course, if your club is running any specific, any specific fundraising goals, you'd want to encourage that here. Right now, we can only collect a single fundraising goal in our donations module, but that will be changing here in the future. And I'm just going to go Rotary Club Greentown. I'll use support at clubrunner.ca because this is our demo club. So this is really all the donation module takes to get set up. As long as you've done the hard work, which is setting up that payment account, we're going to go ahead here and hit save. And you can see here that our correct Bambora Test merchant account is set up on this account. Our sender information and details are all here. You know what, let's edit this just a little bit more. I would at least like to include an image here just to show you guys that getting images in is pretty quick and easy. I'm going to head into our Rotary images folder here, and I know we have a foundation image. I also know that we have some older images in here that need to get going. So let's just go ahead and use the Rotary. Normally I would not use a presidential theme for this, but I just wanted to show you guys it's really easy to get those images in there. And if you had some other nice thank you graphics, you could also do that. So we've got our donation module set up. And if we go back to our homepage now, and we click on donate to our club, you'll see that our donation page comes up. We can select an amount. We can choose to enter another amount. Let's say someone wants to be very generous. We hit donate, and all we have to do is fill out the page and hit submit, and it would take a payment. Now, I don't have a Tusk credit card here to do that, but it would show us our thank you message, and it would allow the club to quickly collect donations for a very specific purpose. So if your club doesn't have a payment module, you can absolutely reach out and ask us about those details. But they're also all available on clubrunner.ca under features for online payments. So we've got some, now I would say I've been pretty happy with the progress that we've made. This page might be a little too busy. For example, maybe we don't need so many Rotary newses and we want to, reduce that just a little bit. So again, we can use our edit pencil here very quickly to jump into the designer. I'm going to scroll down the page here. Oops, I scrolled too far. Here's our Rotary News, and I just realized that I spelled it wrong. There we go. Rotary News will stay. Go ahead and click out of that. I'm going to take this down to 3 items to display and go ahead and hit save. We can see that it now only shows the latest 3, and we can publish again. We didn't actually have to publish for that, but sometimes it's just a good habit to get into. So now, a couple more things that I want to show you guys is we're going to talk about how we build the menu, and in addition, in addition to building the menu up, I'm also going to show you guys how you add content for the menu. Because I know for some systems, adding the menu creates the pages, which is not the case in Club Runner. And I want to make sure everybody's really comfortable with that. So let's check out one more feature that I've been avoiding here, which is our preview mode. And I see that Blake says, my website designer looks completely different. So everything that we've been doing today is the website live designer. It is currently labeled website beta, but it has not been beta for a while. We are working to get those menus updated and revamped so that they will reflect the accurate names. But this is the website live designer, and this is how you're going to be going forward, how clubs will be using it in the future. So if you want to get into that in your, let's take a look at the new admin pages. So when you're here on the new admin page and you come down through here, anytime you go to the homepage designer or any of these sections, it will be sending you to the live designer, which is what this is. And hit the back button real quick. If you want to navigate to the live designer through our menu navigation here at the top of the page, we want to come over to new website beta. And then there's homepage designer. There's also the welcome page, so you can see all of the settings and pages and et cetera that are in the system. Let's go ahead and jump right back into that live designer though, because there's one other feature that I really wanted to show you guys so you can have some confidence in the system. Up at the top, we have a preview system. So for, let's say you want to see what this page might look like on a desktop browser. If you click on the desktop browser icon, it will show you a slightly smaller version, but still nonetheless a desktop view of your club's website. I want to see what it's going to look like on a tablet. When you click the tablet, it will shrink down and show you something like an iPad or a Samsung Galaxy Tab. And now you have a touch device that can move and up and down, and you'll see how the page has reformed itself automatically to encapsulate the information. And if we go down one more level to mobile, now we have what might look like an iPhone or your everyday Android devices, and you can see how your club's website has responsively reloaded its content so that the person viewing it can actually navigate it. And it'll also let you, if you have, maybe you don't have a mobile phone handy, or you're not familiar with it, or what have you. You don't want to just navigate it. You can at least use this to change some stuff. And this is letting me see that, oh, maybe I want to think about how I do our stories a little bit more, or maybe the suggestion should be Club Runner should do a bit better job with this. And those are both valid things. Not only is it something that you can do, you could give us feedback and say, hey, I really wish we could improve how these stories display, and I know I've gotten that feedback this week, and I know that's something that we're looking into and displaying story previews. So there's lots of great tools in our new website live designer, and I would definitely encourage all of the clubs to use this going forward, because this is the future. This is the way we're going. Now there's still some good reasons to go into the classic classic designer. It's usually around some troubleshooting, and occasionally, if you're having trouble rearranging your widgets, which shouldn't be too frequent of occurrence, but if you are, the classic designer does offer some emergency, hey, I'm really struggling for this. And if you guys do run into those cases, let us know. But of course, if I was having some issue moving a widget, either because of, maybe it's my own problems, maybe I'm on a laptop, maybe I don't have a lot of space, you can still head into the classic website, the website designer, and still make those changes. So I can still see all the widgets on the page here, but one of the big things I can't do is I can't edit this widget, because that widget's a new widget and it's only in the live designer. But for some reason, if I was having trouble moving the call of the action to this this main section here where I wanted it for whatever reason, I can come in here and do that. And this will work exactly the same. The only difference is you don't have that live preview, but the live designer is definitely the place to get started, or if you haven't used it, to definitely go check out and get working with it. So I wanna make sure I address at least one more question that I hear very frequently. Oftentimes clubs will come into our menu system, add a new folder or thing, and then wonder, where is this thing that I just created? So if I go ahead and hit add new menu item here, I'm going to go ahead and say about club. I'm sure we have a page potentially about this, but let's talk about link types. So the default link type in the menu system is a folder, and it does exactly what you think it should do, be a folder. Folders can hold more things underneath it, but they can't be a link to something itself. But in this case, I don't want to do that right now. I want to create a new link. So I'm going to choose custom page, and we don't have an about our club. So right now, I can create a menu item for this, but I can't actually link it to anything because it's not there yet. Always think of our menu system as, I want to link to something that I already have built or already exists on the internet. And that is the thing to take away. So let's just go ahead and add it. We already have it about our club, so we have all of those other ones. But we're going to keep going for this. So you can see that there's nothing underneath this right now. It's just you know, this one thing. The nice thing about the menu system is it also is drag and drop friendly. So if I want to, you know, move the donate and make it, or, you know, I want to make our Facebook page more prominent, or maybe I want to move that underneath our about our club folder, I can. You know what, and I want to put our contact us, maybe I want to put that over here at the end. And I want to do something else fun with it. So one of the things we have are these link styles, and it lets you make them into buttons to kind of like have a call to action on your menu as well. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse all again. So we have this contact us as our secondary, and we have our folders. We have two about our clubs, but that's okay. So let's say I want to build a page about our club, and I know we had a question about that a little bit earlier about, hey, I want to link someone to the information about our club. So I can't create that page through our menu system, but I can create a new page with the Website Live Designer. Anytime you use the Website Live Designer to create a new page, you're creating a custom page. Custom pages work almost identically to the home page. The only exception is they're not the home page. That's pretty much the whole difference behind custom pages. They support pretty much everything else the home page does. So I am now in our template mode. So this has a whole bunch of great standard templates. And again, these are just suggestions. So you can pick any one of these, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't like the way it looks, you can change absolutely everything about it. Just think about it as a good starting place. And of course, if you get a place where you really like the format and layout of your page, you can actually save it later as a template, and you would have your own templates to pick from. I don't have any template. I don't have any our own club templates. I just have the Club Runner templates. So I actually really like this Contact Us page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And what this is going to do is it's going to copy that original page, and it's going to bring it right into the page here so I can start working on it. Now, I don't actually want this to be Contact Us. I want this to be About Our Club. So I'm going to go into the properties here, and I'm going to change this to About Our Club. I'm going to click out of it. It's going to say, oh, hey, you've changed the title. Do you want me to change the link to the page to match? Yes. So we now have a page title About Our Club, and the link to this is going to be About Our Club. And we have a couple other options here. So there's a box here that says Display on Homepage. This means that if you have the custom pages for the homepage widget on the homepage, clicking this box will display a link there. If the widget isn't on the homepage, it won't add it though, because the widget's not there to be shown. This box here allows us to rename the title of the page. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've got my cursor over the box, this is the title that they're talking about. They're talking about the browser tab title of the page. Otherwise, it's just going to inherit from About Our Club, but there might be a reason you want to change. If you wanted only members of your club to be able to see this page, which this is a great feature if you have sensitive information you don't want the public at large to have access to, you can set a page to requires login. Anyone who tries to visit this page will be immediately prompted to log in if they're not already logged into the website. And unless they're a member of your club, or if this was the district's website, unless they're a member of the district, they would not be able to see it. Lastly, we have this owner name setting. So if you have a member of your club who needs their own little space to build out some content for the website, this is a great place to do that, because if you assign them owner of this page, they can now come in and edit this page, even if you've given them no additional access to do so. I'm not going to go ahead and do that today because I'm the administrator and I'm building this page for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And the page will update. I'm going to leave the layout alone and I'm going to head into the content. So I don't like this photo. I don't have anything against this photo. I just don't want this photo on our club page. I want our meeting information. I want our contact information over here because that looks a lot nicer, I think. And then we have a club map, and I believe this is just some very fancy. I think we just went to Google to get this embed. So let's go ahead and show you guys how you could do that. Maps.google.com. So I'm going to head to Google Maps, 2060. And I'm giving away a secret here. This is our office address. This is where everybody sends their payments for Club Runner. And one of the things I want to do is I want to scroll in here. And I should be able to share, embed a map. So here's the map. All I have to do here, and there's different options here. So I'm just going to go with the medium because I think that's fine. Google is going to give me some special HTML. So I'm going to hit copy HTML. And then I'm going to come back into our content editor here. I'm going to go into the source mode. I'm going to replace the original code here and just paste it in. Now that is probably the most advanced in most days anyone will really have to go through and do. And you'll see that our map is here now. I think I'm going to move this up here into the middle so it shows right underneath. And let's go ahead and publish this page. And one other thing we'll take a look at is we've got these logos here. So if I click into this page, all of these logos right now are linking to Rotary.org. I definitely know that because I'm the one that set them up. And if I double click on them, it'll let me investigate the properties. And if I look at the link, you can see that this goes to the Rotary International Facebook page. And that's where I want it to go in this case. But if your club had your own Facebook page, you could change it. But changing the links is that simple. Clicking onto the image, opening up the image properties and checking the link. Now, if it wasn't linked, you could also use the link button, and in this case, it'll still show me. But if you wanted to link it to a page in Club Runner, you can do so, or you can just, enter your URL if you have it. So most of these, changing a lot of this stuff is simply down to clicking into it and changing it. So like, here's our phone number, 1-877. 469-2582. Click out, done. As soon as I click away and off of that, it is done. I'm going to go ahead and publish our page. I'm going to close our other browser tabs here. I saw a question about this being recorded, and it is. So Carolyn asks about, could you use the login feature to track potential members? So no, unfortunately, as soon as you request a login, they won't be able to create their own account. Now, if you have them in, if you've added them as a prospective member in your other users list, they would be able to log in and do that. But adding them to the adding them as an other user does give them a lot of access to the club. So I would definitely use that, make very solid choices on that. But if you want more input on that, definitely contact our team, and I could definitely reach out to you if you're very interested in that. Now, I do see another question here about setting up input forms. As of right now, we don't have form capability yet, but that is definitely something we're looking into. But of course, if you use any third-party forms, I know lots of clubs will use JotForm or Google Docs form. You can get those forms and embed them into Club Runner very easily. So to finish up with this, I see I have more questions. I just want to finish with our thought process here on this. So first, I'm going to go look at the live page, and I can see that I'm pretty happy with the way this all looks on our website here. I mean, there are definitely things we could change or make better and go on forever about, but I am happy enough with this page. So I'm going to head back into our designer here, and I'm going to hover over into our edit navigation. Now, I am an administrator. A regular user wouldn't be able to edit the navigation. That does require level 30 access. But again, in this case, because I am the administrator, I can do that. And what I want to do here is actually, this is a new thing, and it trips me up sometimes. We don't allow folders to be changed. So if you create something as a folder, it's always going to be a folder, and that is for your users. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Add New Menu Item again. And in this case, I want to link it to a custom page because that is what we just built. And here is our About Our Club custom page. Lucky me, it is right at the top. I'm going to put in the tooltip or the menu title, About Our Club. And I want to show you guys the tooltip as well. All right, so we've got all that there. I ended up hitting enter on my keyboard very accidentally, and you can see that our About Our Club page is now there. I'm going to drag it up so it is between our club projects and everything else. I'm going to go ahead and publish the menu. I think I may have already done that, but I just really want to make sure. So when I come back to our page here and I refresh the page, you will see that we now have an About Our Club link. And if I hover over it for just a minute, you will see that it says click for more information. So if anyone was curious about what those tooltips do, that is exactly what they do. And if I click it, I come right here. And if I head back to the home page, it also works. And so the reason why, one of the reasons why we actually cannot change the the folders into anything else is it actually harms mobile users. So I'm going to show you guys a very, this is an advanced feature that I'm teaching you guys. Not only does Club Runner have built-in emulation when you're designing your pages, your browser probably does too. So this is not really a tutorial on that, but I just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to get that same kind of functionality here. Now, I'm, of course, still using developer tools, but now we can see what our page looks like again. And here's what I wanted to show you guys about why we limit those folders. If this About Our Club link here, and you can see, I think you guys can, you might not be able to see my cursor, but if this was a link and I tried to click on it, instead of opening up these, it would take us directly to that page. Oh, I see I've got a great question from Tommy about the menu stacking. So I'm going to turn off the browser developer tools here and come back. I actually want to, probably the easiest way I'm thinking about to show you guys how this works is I'm actually going to go into the classic designer just so we can very easily visualize the layout here. So when you get into a mobile view, what will happen is any of these sections that take up the full amount of the screen, they're gonna stack on top of each other quite directly. When we get down here to this, now we have 3 columns instead of having columns that are stacked on each other. The columns will always rearrange themselves as the main is always going to be the first column. So this main column will effectively stretch out to the entire page. So it will act just like this band full width, and then it will proceed normally from left to right. So on our page, on a mobile, we'd have this banner full width, the top, if it had a widget in it, then band full width, then main, left, right, and then it will continue down the page as normal. So if we head into the live designer again, we can actually see this in action. So I'm going to head into the homepage designer here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the preview mode. We'll start in the desktop. So in the desktop, again, we can see that everything is laid out as we would expect it to be. Heading into the tablet view, you can see that our left and right columns have disappeared. And you no longer see those other sections. So we've got our carousel and our widget asking for donations, our call to actions. We've got our homepage stories because this is the first thing that shows on the page. And as we scroll down, we'll see that here's our meeting information from our leftmost widget, and then our club executives. And then from our rightmost widget, we have our Rotary feed. So effectively, the page will always reorient itself from top to bottom. Primary content, which is always going to be that main center column, and then left to right. If our layout, I'm going to head back into here real quick. If we only had a 2-column layout, so for example, if I take us back to the layout we had, something a little bit simpler that we had earlier before we started customizing a lot of stuff. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and publish this. Let's take a look at this in the preview. So the same thing. In our desktop view, we have our left and primary columns. And when we go into our tablet or our mobile device view, we will have our primary will still show first, and then our smaller or skinnier columns will show after. Let's see, I've got a couple other good questions here. Lori is asking about read more. So let's take a quick look at that. So when you guys are working with your stories, I'm actually going to hit go back here. I am going to head back to our administrative homepage here. If you were creating a new story and you were an editor, you weren't an administrator. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but when you're an administrator, you come into the administrator, but if you ever want to see any of the other sections that your users can see, so for example, your level 40 and 50 members, people who have access level 40 and 50, this is their dashboard. If you wanted to see what your website editors get access to, this is their dashboard. But let's say I do want to create a new story. I can go right into the create story button here, and it throws me right into the actual story creation. I don't have to navigate through several different levels. So I can have our story title. We don't have to worry about the permalink field. In almost all cases in the system, the permalink will always populate itself from the title. And in, again, most cases, you probably don't need to change it. Then we could set a date of our story. These little icons mean whether or not they show. If it's got a slash through it, it's invisible. If it's got the eyeball lit up, it's visible. We are going to show our social media share bar, and I am going to cheat just a little bit. I am going to reselect a story I'd already prepared because it has lots of good content, and I don't have to also put it in myself. So the secret to doing read more is 2 parts. Number 1, you have to split your story. You have to split your story between your story brief and your story content. If you put absolutely everything into the brief, it will just show on the homepage and there is no read more. But if you make sure that you split your content between your brief and your story content box, the read more button should automatically pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and save our story here, and I do want it on the home page and the list of stories page. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm. And now it has brought me right back to the administrative screen, and I am back if I want to create more content like stories or pages, photo albums, etc. So let's head back to the homepage designer, which is something you probably wouldn't need to do very frequently, but you do see that this read more button is showing. But I want to show you guys how to check to make sure that the read more button is also showing. So if you go into the properties for the widget and you scroll down, you will see a bunch of different options here. And down here at the very bottom in the settings section, we have show read more link. If I uncheck this box, no matter what I do, the stories will not have the read more button. Even if this was the entirety of the story, you can still get there by clicking on the story title to read the whole story. But if we go back into the properties cog and we scroll down here into the read more, we can go ahead and hit save, and that will change it. So I think this is Kathleen. I keep seeing it as Athleen, and I'm not sure if that is how it came in. But for Kathleen or Athleen, she is asking how to change the font size of the body in a widget, not just in the title or header. So in many cases, if you do not see an option to control the font size for the content properties, there would not be a direct way to change the font size of the content in that widget. I will say that we try to choose really good default sizes for that. And if there is a place that you guys see, like maybe the club information or the speakers widgets where you guys would like to see those controls, absolutely, let us know. In general, if you see something that isn't there that you would like, you should always let us know. I can't always, we can't promise you that every single request that is made will be actioned on, but especially as we get more requests and we're building consensus, or we see a feature would be useful to many customers, we would absolutely, think about adding it as long as we can. Blake has a great question. I did show this widget off a little bit earlier, but it is that Facebook widget. So I'm going to go and switch back to our other layout that we were using. And we've got our Facebook widget here. So let's see, Rotary District 5890. And I think Rotary District 5890, look. Second item that I was looking here is their Facebook page. So if we wanted to pull in the Rotary District 5890 directly into our feed here, all I'd have to do is change this feed here. I'll go ahead and hit the properties wheel. I can go in here to our Facebook URL and change it and save. And now it will show the Rotary District feed and not just, a district local here to me. But if you didn't know where I got that widget from, it is under the bulletin and PR section here. And you can see here, Facebook page plugin. This is the best. You want to embed your club's Facebook feed. This is how you do it. Drag and drop the widget into the Live Designer, click on the properties, scroll down to the page plugin settings, paste your Facebook page in there and make the config, yes, I want to show the timeline, and I want the small, I don't want the cover photo showing, and I don't want the small header, and I want to show if friends are logged in. And you can put as many of these Facebook feeds as you want on your club website. So if you want one on your homepage that is your club, and you want one for your district website or Rotary International, you can just keep adding them. I will say, probably use them somewhat sparingly. I don't think I'd have more than like 2 on an individual page, or at least not more than 1 or 2 on a homepage, because this is it does need to fetch information from Facebook, and that can add to some of the delay on your guys' page loading. But one is not going to be any significant detriment. But I've seen a couple clubs who had like 5 of them, and they were very curious to why their club's homepage was loading so slowly. Well, you have to load 5 other Facebook pages onto the page. But it is very easy to get that. And it used to be that you had to go directly to Facebook to get their code to come back into Club Runner. We wanted to make that easy for you guys. And I think, as you just saw, the hardest part is getting the page address. Once you have that page address, it is pretty easy to get that content up and into there. So I want to talk about some of the widgets, because I know we've kind of been jumping all over the place, but I do want to at least go through them. So we talked about the pre-formatted widgets earlier. All of these widgets are great because they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. The way they look is the way they'll look, and if it is in a responsive format, it will, if you're on a mobile device, or the person visiting your website is on a mobile device, all of our pre-formatted widgets will automatically reconfigure themselves to look good at appropriate resolutions, at least to the best of our ability. We have a bunch of other widgets. So, this meeting information widget here that I've been working on pretty consistently and making changes to, it's under the essentials. So we have things like the meeting information, which is your club information, your executive and directors list. So all your club officers, directors, etc. We have a list for homepage stories, which is what this guy is here. And we also have homepage news. So if you need a small second set of news or announcements for the homepage, you do have 2 copies. They are independent of each other. We have homepage download files. So if you guys create, if you go into the homepage downloads files and you list them, you can also set them to show on the homepage itself through this widget. And the only thing I want to note here is homepage download files are always public. I cannot stress that enough. Always public. Anyone who has a link to that file can download it. They do not need to be logged in or anything. So just please, extra special caution, make sure you don't put anything with members' contact information that they're not 100% comfortable with the public at large having access to in it. But of course, flyers, PDFs, forms, images, whatever makes sense that is 100% publicly accessible, put in, if you have a member application form, maybe you have a donation form, things that the public at large can see and you don't have to worry about. Homepage photo albums, if you've created a photo album and you want to have it, the album, like a link to that album displayed on the homepage, you can use this. It works very similarly to the homepage download files. We also have a custom pages widget. When I was working on creating that new custom page, this is the information, like this is the widget I was talking about. So if we had checked yes, and there were a list of pages here, so we have like our food page, that's what will show up. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. I see a question from Lori. So banner full width, there isn't a banner full width widget. There's a section called banner full width for which you can put widgets into. And the widget that we have here is a dynamic carousel widget. Moving along, we have a birthdays and anniversaries widget. So if you want to show off, members of the club, their date of birth or how long that they've been with the club. Just one moment. Oh, okay, thought I had a sneeze. Sorry about that, guys. We have a president's message widget. This is a great widget because what it will do is it'll actually pull in the club members, the president's photo, the president's name, and it will allow them to have some text in there. Lots of clubs I know like to use those. We have a contact us widget. So let's say you guys need to get some email. If you need to get emails from people, you could drop it in there. Okay, so I see a thing from Jerry. The district, and they said to use it only on 2 columns. All right, so let me finish running through the widgets and we'll go back to a 2-column layout and show you guys how you can make that really stylish and look nice. And one of the other things that you guys can think about as a good thing to take away from this is you should potentially treat your homepage more as a branding page for your club to the outside world than necessarily a your club members homepage. And I want to show off a club that does that really well. Rotary. I've worked with the club's president and district governor, and they actually use a single column layout for their club homepage, and this is their public branding page. And there's Mr. David Gardner. He's a fantastic gentleman. I've met him several times and always enjoy working with him. But this is their club's homepage, and this is their expression to the world about what their club does. So instead of being a homepage for members of the club, this is their branded, like this is the homepage they want to show the world. But if you want to see the club and member information, you can click on this club website page. And this looks a little bit closer to what we've been doing this morning, where there are, there's information for the club and people who are interested in it here, but it is not the home page. So that is another really good thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about how you guys want your homepage to look, is you can definitely focus on something that is more about advertising your club to the world and not advertising, at least the homepage isn't necessarily showing off just the happenings with the club. So let me keep working through our widgets, and then I'll show you guys how we can get into that 2-column and still make it look really nice. So we have our carousel widgets, which we talked about earlier. These are our new dynamic carousel widgets. We have link widgets. Link widgets are great because they allow you to create a little collection of like navigation. You can think of it very much like a little mini self-contained navigation menu that goes onto the side of the page. Or really, I mean, really wherever you want it. But it lets you create links and organize those links. Underneath events here, we have a mini calendar. which will show quite literally the calendar of events. And if your club had any of events on any of those days, they would light up. We have our speakers. So if the club has entered upcoming speakers, there's that information. If you guys have your upcoming events, that's great. And of course, there's meeting responsibilities. If you guys have greeters and stuff and there's a specific order and you're using the duty roster feature in Club Runner, you can put that. I would definitely not suggest that on the homepage. That would definitely be something much better for the club's personal homepage. We have our bulletin and PR grouping. So this is where we can find things like subscribing to the club bulletins, a list of recent club bulletins, a list of Rotary links, the Rotary RSS feeds and RSS feed functionality that I was showing you guys earlier. Sponsors, if your club has sponsors, you can have them display on your custom page. And this is where we have that Facebook page plugin widget itself. Our last two groups are the advanced mode. So you can still use these widgets to create content and take, but the big thing here is these widgets will allow you to do so much more. These will allow you to do so much more if you have someone who is advanced in their HTML or their JavaScript. So if you guys have someone who can write code for you, you can do kind of whatever you want. We actually have some proofs of concept here. So I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and publish it. I don't remember where this came from very specifically, but just to show if you have someone who is much more advanced in the HTML and CSS, you can do this. It just requires custom coding. We can't support that directly through our support team, but it is possible to be done. So go ahead and take that guy off of there. The only difference between the custom widgets global and the custom widgets page specific is that global means they're available for all of the pages on the website. So let's say you guys had a collection of navigation that you wanted on some of your to be dispersed throughout multiple pages. You could create a custom global widget. Another good thing for custom global widget might be like all of your social media links or other things that you want to have on multiple pages. But if the content is specific to the page that you're working on, page specific widgets are better because they're only available on this page. It also means that the good and bad thing about global widgets is if you change it one place, it changes it everywhere. But I do want to show you guys how we can get into a 2-column layout. So let's think about this as our club's homepage and the things that we do, to improve our club. So I'm going to go ahead and select this guy here. This is a full width top band. So there's a bunch of sections up here and our 2 columns. So instead of having this as a home page for our club, we could definitely do several different things. So instead of having this homepage stories, which is a feed from information from our club, we can go ahead and get rid of that. We can have our Rotary news here over in the left-hand side. And then let's use some of our pre-formatted widgets to create some information and details about our club. So I'm going to drag an image with caption widget in here. I'm going to add a double text widget in here. I'm going to add an article left-right and one of these guys down here. So now I've got a little bit more simple page set up. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this guy here. I'm going to go into our Rotary images. I'm going to grab the Rotary. I'm going to grab a digital Rotary brand. I know this is, I definitely know that the full text one, and for everyone here, the digital brand at this size is definitely not the one you'd want to use. You would want to use the proper one. Let me see if I can get a different placeholder image in here. Let me borrow my robot. Oh gosh, he's even bigger. What I'm trying to find here is a nice little photo that I can, that isn't quite so large. There we go. Join us for our 4th of July cookout. And if it would really help if I could spell 4th right this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. I'm going to click link. And I'm going to link it to an event. I don't actually, oh, look, there's our barbecue. Great. So now I've got our text right there at the top. I could have some information about our club here. Here it's causes we support. fundraising goals for this year. Now, I don't have a lot more info prepared for these, but I think you guys get the idea that coming in here and you know, it's really easy to get this content into the page and work through it. So we can keep going. So, you know, maybe we have another event that's going on in our club or our district, and you know, now you've set up something that's pretty straightforward. And I know I'm not setting this all up here, but if we come back to our homepage, we can reload it, and now we have a really slimmed down homepage. Now, obviously, there's a ton of placeholder content in here, but with a little bit of time and effort, you guys could definitely turn this into, you know, a branding page for the club. And then, oh, you know, down at the bottom, interested in seeing what our members are up to, click here. And it now takes you to that whole page that is more about what the club is actively doing day to day and less about what you want your position to, you know, your first time visitors to see about your club. So a very quick way to do that, we have a nice little single button. We can drop that down here, click on this. And then I can take it to a built-in page, or not a built-in page, I'll take it to a custom page. And, you know, maybe we want them to learn about the things that we do in our community. The hardest thing to do, which I haven't been showing you guys here, is coming up with the messaging and words and text that you want to show on your page. If you guys can get that information, that is a big part of the battle. A lot of the rest of it will really just be coming to the website, copying and pasting the information that you have, and filling in boxes in Club Runner. It really is pretty easy. You guys have seen through the last hour and a half how drastically we've changed this club's homepage. So I know I saw another question here from, I think it's Jayton, and if I pronounce that off, I do apologize. They asked, how do you have more items in links widget except than in our Club Runner website? So I'm not sure specifically what links widget you're talking about. However, I do want to talk about two different link widgets. If you have the Rotary links widget, these are a set of links that Club Runner maintains for all clubs. You cannot change them. The only person who can change them is Club Runner, and we can only change it for every club and user on the system. So if this is the links widget that you're trying to change, you can't change it. But if you switch to a links widget itself, you can drag that onto the page here. And it's actually going to send us into the link management system. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a new link, link text, to Google. Custom URL, google.com. Create a new group, Google. And we don't have to share the name, but we have to create a group because there's no groups, and then we can choose where, and we can choose whether or not it opens up in a menu or opens up in a new window. And the general consensus, or at least the best practice for the new window option, is anytime someone will leave your club's website in its entirety. So if you were sending them to Rotary International or the district, or maybe you're running a fundraiser with another club or organization in the area and they have their own website that they're doing that through, use that new window. But if someone's going to stay in your club's website or stay on your website, try not to open it in a new window, because users can still do that themselves. The important thing about the new window option is that they can close that window or tab and then just come right back. So if you iterate through, you can continue to add link upon link upon link. And you can keep adding them over and over again, and do as many as you need until you've built up your entire links widget, and then your links will show on the page. And the nice thing about this is these are reusable throughout the entire website. So Jen, I hope that really helps for your question there. Tommy mentioned, can you mention the display options as regular, scrollable, and column? Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look at our stories widget. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of the content that we put in here. I'm going to pull, not pre-formatted. Let's pull open Essentials here. Let's drag our homepage stories back onto the page here. And so now that our homepage stories are back into our section here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the cog icon to jump into the customizability section here. And what we want to change here is the layout. So there are 3 styles: regular, which is what you guys see here. There are columns, and I believe the industry term for this is masonry effect. It'll basically layer your stories in each little section, as you guys can see here. And I would definitely encourage, if you want to use this this style, short intros are much more much better. Though let's also take a look at the scrollable option. So you can see here that this is also pretty nice. It condenses it so you have a list of stories that show on the homepage. Let's go back and refresh that. So now you guys can see we've got a pretty short little homepage here because we've now made all of our stories scrollable. I see, Blake, you're having some issues with the Facebook widget. I don't want to do the troubleshooting here with our webinar, but Blake, I will reach out to you after the webinar so we can start a ticket and we can work on trying to figure out what's going on with your club's homepage with your widgets. Let's see, were there any other questions here that I missed? All right. I think that concludes most of the really big things that I wanted to talk about and go over with you guys. And you guys have been asking really fantastic questions. Were there any other questions, Tommy? I know you are my you are my district contact here. Was there anything else you would like me to cover, or did you have any specific questions or concerns that I haven't addressed yet, or haven't addressed yet, rather? And if you would like, Tommy, I can also unmute you if that would make it easier, if you'd like to address anybody or make sure I haven't said anything silly. Thank you very much, Tommy. So for Jet and Blake, I guess let me say the first thing. So or the support thing. So our team is available Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to about 5:36 p.m. Monday to Friday. We don't currently have phone support directly available due to COVID restrictions. We're still pretty locked down here in Ontario, but our team is working distributedly and we can give people calls back. But in order to be fair to everybody who does need support, we do try and work with everybody over emails first. And when we either run into a roadblock or we're not making much progress over the emails, we can set up times to call with you guys. So typically, if you call us and if you call us, you can still call us also and leave a voicemail with us. And for any reason, if you guys don't have that phone number, it is 877-469-2582. You'll get a little recording right when that comes up, and you can leave a message for us. And I would encourage you to leave us as much information as possible. Definitely let us know as many details in the phone call as possible. Your name, the club or district that you're with, and the specifics of the issue that you're having. And we will email you back, or if we can immediately identify that an email isn't going to help or it's going to significantly delay everything, we can reach out through a phone call. But the same thing with email. I would say on average, our average response time is probably about a day. So if you email us on Monday, I would expect to hear back from us usually by Tuesday. When we have really high volume in our emails or our support queues, we do have a little message, and I think the message is still showing, but we're actually heading down. Like we don't have as much volume as we had, so we're actually we're getting back to our regular response times, which is about either a day or less than a day in most cases. And I see Lori here is asking, we Rotary is probably our biggest customer by far, and we do have Rotary clubs and districts all over the world: North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, the Pacific and Pacific Islanders, Australia, New Zealand. Like Club Runner is a worldwide thing. We do have other organizations that use us as well, but I would say by and far and large, Rotary clubs, districts, and zones are our largest largest customer rather. So if you guys do, if you have a question or you don't know how to do stuff, the other thing I would definitely encourage everyone to go check out is clubrunnersupport.com. This has all of our guides for how you guys can do things, and everything is broken down into different sections. So if you are a member of a club but not an administrator, this club members guide, this is going to cover all the things that you guys can do day to day. We have an administrative guide. So if you have a higher access level, 60, 70, or sorry, wrong directions. If you're a level 70 member, you have standard access. But as you gain more access, 60, 50, 40, 30, the lower the number, the more permissions you have, these other sections will start to become more handy for you. If you just use your district's website, for example, we have guides for that. If you're a club executive managing your club through the district's website, we also have guides for that. And of course, we have guides for administration, how you turn on integration, and all of our other features, including past webinars. So if you ever missed one of our webinar videos, you can jump in here and watch some of our past ones. The other thing that's really nice about the Club Runner support website is you can throw us a support ticket. You click up here, fill out the form, it'll send us an email and we'll get back to you obviously as soon as we can. And the last thing I will give a shout out to our support is we do have the Club Runner community. So all you need to do for the Club Runner community is log in with the same details you use to log into your club and district, and you can participate with other Rotarians and Club Runner users all across, Club Runner. Only members of clubs can you have to be a Club Runner user to post. It's the only way to get in. And you guys will see here that I'm not logged in right now. So you guys, this is how your information would show up. So really only the information that you choose to share with the world, which is your display name, will show up to members of the public. Now, I'm a moderator here on our community, so you can see my name and you can see a few more details. But when you're logged in as a member of the community, you'll be able to see the location of the member if they wanted to share that with you, and some more information about them. But we really do try to go really hard out of our way to make sure that regular people can see some of the information, but they can't see all of this. And it is nice because other members of the community will respond. It doesn't always happen, but more and more we're seeing more questions come into our community, which is great because even if we don't answer you guys right away, you have the capability of getting other input from other Rotarians and other people using Club Runner who might be able to point you in the right direction. So Tommy, Tommy had asked me how to use the RI hex colors. So let me head back in here real quick. Actually, I can head right in here. So I will say that in most cases, Club Runner is pretty good about using Rotary brand appropriate colors. When you're looking at themes, you will see things like steel blue and sky blue or azure and gold. Azure and gold is the colors that you guys should be looking for most consistently because azure and gold tells you that it's 100% Rotary colors. But if you wanted to change some of the text here, let me see if I can go into the properties here. Content link color. So let's say you wanted to make your Rotary, you want to use the Rotary gold color. As long as you know the hex value, F7A81B, here's Rotary gold. So this is going to make all of our links in our stories. Well, actually, I don't even know if we have any links on there. Item title, no, that's font size. Let's see what this actually changes. Go ahead and hit save. So now you guys can see that the text for our story titles has changed to that Rotary gold color. And Tommy also asked me to share. You guys can definitely grab the visual identities at a glance guide on the district's website. And I actually think I have a few too many things going down on my. Where did it go? I had that thought. There it is. So this is the guide that Tommy was referencing. This is the guide that you can find on the district's website. And the thing that I want to call out for you guys, and I just know that it is a thing, make sure you're looking at the right style of logo for your club's website. And that's going to be the Rotary wheel and logo with your text in one of these locations, not the partner logo lockups. Always use the signature style logos. I believe that is correct. And I believe Tommy will tell me if I am very wrong, and I will communicate that. And the last thing that I do want to give a shout out about for our community and our support is we do have webinars that are always going on with Club Runner. If you club to the Club Runner website, clubrunner.ca under resources, nope, sorry, it's under support, it's under webinars. You can see all of our upcoming webinars, and we run webinars every single month for the most part. The only time that's not really true is July. We usually have other things going on, but we have pretty much webinars every day or every week in most months, and they all go over different things. So if you want to just learn how you do a whole bunch of things, if you want a big in-depth overview of Club Runner, Club Runner 101. This is actually the not in-depth one. This is usually run by Jeff, who's one of our sales members, and he will give you a quick, brisk overview of the things Club Runner can do. Club Runner Essentials is great for new secretaries and presidents who are trying to help their clubs. So if you want to learn how to log in, how to send emails, how to view reports, basically get a feeling for what Club Runner can do, this is a great one. And of course, all of our other webinars are usually straight and to the point. How to do bulletins, how to record attendance, how to use our dues and billing module, how to use the website live designer, how to build out content for the website live designer, so on and so forth. This is the fun one. This is one of the ones that I do. This is the Rotary International integration. And if most clubs already have their information integrated, but if you guys don't know how to do that, or you'd like to learn more about the Rotary International integration, I would strongly encourage you guys to attend that one. And I think that leaves us about 10 minutes. Tommy, I hope I got everything. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you here if you would like to say anything else, or oh, at least I thought I unmuted you. I think you have self-muted yourself. So if you would like to unmute yourself, Tommy, you should be able to talk now. I hope. I think I got the right Tommy in the list. But let's see. So either I don't think I can hear Tommy, and I'm assuming nobody else is able to. But I think that's going to wrap up the webinar. I know I did see some questions about the webinar being recorded, and this webinar was recorded. I'll definitely work with our team to get that over to Tommy and their team so they can either get it out to you guys or choose how to share that in the future. I hope you guys really enjoyed the time that I was able to share with you today, and I hope you guys were able to take a lot away from the website live designer, how you create pages, how you update the menu, how you work through the system to update your club's website. And again, to really reinforce, if you guys are struggling or you have questions, give us a call. That phone number again is 877-469-2582, option 2 for our support team, though that I have to break myself of that habit. But our information is here, and I definitely recommend using this toll-free number that is toll-free for everyone in North America, so you don't have to pay to call Canada. If you do call our 905 number, that will be an international long-distance call, so just be careful with that. But if you guys need assistance, get in touch with us. Come to the Club Runner support website, find an article, put in a support ticket, give us a call. We will work with you and get back to you to work with you and do our best to resolve those. And again, if while our phone support is limited right now, if for any reason, if we can't work to resolve it over a phone call, we will schedule either a phone call or a Zoom call with you guys so we can work through and troubleshoot whatever issues you're running into. So once again, thank you all for having me. It was wonderful to be here, and I wish you guys the best of luck on your journey with updating your websites as you prepare for the Rotary International Convention in 2022.